Hi there. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about who I am and the kinds of things that I am doing these days. So right now it is January 2023. So depending upon, well, no, I take that back. It is February 2023. So depending upon when you're watching this, who knows what's changed. So with that in mind, I am a witch, a ritual practitioner, which means that I am someone who does ritual work or any type of spiritual work almost every day, and then some cases I will do rituals at least once a week, if not more. I'm always doing spiritual things constantly, whether it's a simple thing before I go to sleep or whenever I wake up. I'm constantly working with the deities and gods and goddesses and any kinds of spirits that I'm working with. I'm constantly talking to them throughout the day. It's pretty much an everyday, all day occurrence for me. It's who I've become, it's who I am, and it's what I do. It's just very much a very integrative part of my life. So on any given day, at any given time, I'm either working on something, whether it's an herbal blend, an oil blend, or maybe I'm doing a ritual just to talk to one of the deities, to, have a chat for any number of reasons. Perhaps I'm looking to petition one of my gods or goddesses for something, or maybe I'm just doing a ritual because it's a certain season of the year, as witches do like our seasons. And I'm happy to, give a feast to all of my friends in the spirit realm, to which I have quite a few. So when it comes down to it, these days I'm working with quite a few different gods and goddesses and a very large group of what I call my allies, my crew. My spirit familiar friends. So a lot of people they take the concept of familiar and think it's an animal, which of course it can be, obviously. I have a tremendous amount of types of spirits that I work with, but when I call them familiar spirits, what I mean to say is that instead of a god or a goddess, they are more of a closer inner circle, friendly group. They're a friend rather than a god or a deity. So I also work with angels. I work with angels, gods, goddesses, of course, different pantheons. I also work with the ancestors. As a witch, it is a very common thing for us to work with the ancestors, and I am still doing that work and progressing in that work. And while I believe out of all of the things that I've been doing, the ancestral work is something that I'm definitely diving into a lot more than I was before, and that is still something that is an ongoing. It will always be technically a work in progress, however, always room to improve. As far as who I work with. When it comes to the work I do as a healer, I'm an intuitive energy healer. And when it comes down to what that means, essentially, I have what people would say psychic abilities, or what we as witches or people in the field might call sight. What kind, so a lot of times people go, are you clair this or you clair that? There's many different types of clairs, like clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. There's a lot. So it has to do with the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, knowing, and all of this. And yes, there are those that get a taste, or they'll get a feel, or they'll smell something. Maybe they see something or they hear something. And when it comes down to it, for me, I feel energy, and I'm not even sure if there's a clear word for that exactly. Because I feel energy, like I can feel, energy in such a way to where I can feel the pressure of my energy field around me. I can sense and feel the energy of another person easily. I can sense the energy in a room. I can sense if and when my energy is being compressed or grounded. I can also sense if and when it's becoming ungrounded and light. When it comes to the way in which I sense and feel energy, I'm above average. I have not met anybody who senses or feels energy like I do, and I have even been told by a coven leader, a very good person that I know that taught me a lot when I was learning things, that they would not even want to experience the way I feel energy because it would be highly uncomfortable. And trust me, I can tell you this, it is taking years to get used to this, and it is still not something that I'm used to. So when I get up every day and I go to sleep every night, I am constantly attempting to heal my energy, adjust my energy, or work on my energy because of how I feel on an energetic level, because of my chakras, my field, or what may have happened during the day or at any point in time, because as energetic beings, we are all made of energy. I am constantly going through changes as a result of things I watch on TV, the things that I might eat, the things that I might hear or see throughout the day. If I go outside and, go do something with someone, being around people or large crowds is definitely a huge deal for me. So if I get into a large crowd of people, I have to nowadays consider where I'm going and what I'm doing. And because of how I can be affected energetically, I'm very cautious about what I'm going to be doing. So when I go to certain places, I will actually start to wear certain types of protective charms, bracelets, talismans, you name it, anything that can actually help or enhance strengthening my energy field, protecting me from outside forces or energetic energies. And on top of it, I do my very best at making sure to be mindful of, I don't drink anymore. And for some, that might be crazy. However, if I do decide to drink, I tend not to do it at large events or with places that are very crowded, because I have found that in the last one or two times I did so, which was last year sometime, early last time, was a very uncomfortable experience trying to dress whenever I got home, having to cleanse my energy, clear the energy, then heal the energy. And, when you've been in a nightclub or a bar and you get home around 3 or 4 because of the drive with some friends and whatnot, because you decided that, why not go see this event? You do have to realize, and I even had stuff that I was wearing in the hopes that, hey, no, I still had to do plenty of work on myself. So it's a prime example of how sensitive I am. I'm so sensitive that, I'm consistently doing work to constantly keep that up. So it's a daily, hourly review. I'm always checking in, and I can always tell. And in some cases, while I, sometimes, you will be somewhere and you kind of hit a level where, you may or may not understand. At some point, whenever I get to a place of calm, I will be able to, check in with myself, see where I'm at, and go, oh, well, yes, I should probably go do these things. So that's the strongest sense of sight or psychic ability I have. Now, that being said, I'm also clairaudient, which means that I can hear spirits. To say I hear voices, it sounds a little different. So yes, I do hear spirits. And I have heard what you would say, yes, I've heard voices, both inside, because there's a lot of people, whenever it comes to psychic ability, I hear them, what we would say, inside the head. I also hear them outside the head, so I can hear them in both ways. The same thing whenever it comes to visions or seeing, I can see, or I generally, the majority of the time, I have visions in the dream realm, because I am an avid dream journal person. I keep my dream journals every single day. If I miss a day, I do my best to go back as soon as possible and write down what I can remember. And I've been doing this for decades, and as a result, I'm capable of remembering dreams for weeks on end. However, it's best if you write them down immediately. And so I have dozens of journals that span a few decades. So most of my vision work and a lot of the work that I do does happen whenever I sleep at night. I get a lot of information that is sent to me. I got a lot of spirits that work with me whenever I'm sleeping, because when we sleep, we leave our bodies and go to the astral realm, or we will have out-of-body experiences. I've had plenty of those. I would like to really get a really good handle on that. I'm still working on it. However, I've traveled to many different places whenever it comes to the dream world, or other worlds even, as a result of having persisted in my interest in keeping dream journals and doing work whenever sleeping. Some might think that you wouldn't get rest, and in some cases, yeah, that may be true. While in other cases, no, I can get even better rest or deeper rest, especially whenever I speak to my spirits before I go to sleep. I let them know what I want to do or what I want to accomplish, what we can do, and it's usually right before I wake up. right before, like the hour or so before I wake up, where I get a lot of visions and dreams, and they kind of download all at once. And then, as I start to wake up, I realize that, I've had this information, and I kind of go through it before I open my eyes. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And then I write it down. And when I write it down, somehow the translation about what I've been given comes to me. So I also get visions when I chose to close my eyes and go into a different altered state, like alpha or theta. And look those up if you need to. Just meditative states where if I'm doing a ritual or some type of path working, where I'm sitting and working with whomever or whatever I'm doing, I will get visions as to what they're trying to tell me. Sometimes I will hear things. The majority of the time, the biggest things I get depends upon what I'm doing when. So if I'm sleeping, I get plenty of visions. If I do a meditation, I can get visions. And while I have seen things right in front of me in the past, generally, for me, my sight works much better, or these days, a little bit better with my eyes closed in terms of vision work. When it comes to other types of senses, like the knowing, I do have the knowing. One of the things I tend to know, which, not always, the one of the things that a lot of people, want to know is I have a tendency to recognize when death is nearby. For a number of different reasons. Probably because as a child I experienced a tremendous amount of trauma with a lot of death, not natural. And so I believe that with my, experiences, and to be involved in the things I was involved in, or to be put into a situation where I had to experience death so fast over a short period of time, I recognize when death is near in some cases. Now, as a witch, we don't let people know, hey, I think you're gonna die tomorrow. No, that's not what we do. It's just one of those things that that's kind of one of the knowings I have. I also get other types of impressions, or information. Now, I would love if Spirit would kindly give me the lottery numbers, and if I do, I will totally tell you, maybe after I have already won. Regardless, we are definitely capable of any number of amazing things, and we get lucky just like anybody else. So that being said, as far as smell and taste, every once in a while those two things do come to me in such a way as to kind of bring a memory or a vision to mind. And what happens is whenever I taste something or when I smell something that I know is not a part of, like, if I'm just sitting and doing nothing, like watching a TV show or I'm driving in a car, but I get a taste of something or a smell that I can't identify, that makes no sense with my surroundings, then I take in that information and I adapt and I work on it. So those two are not nearly as strong as the rest. When it comes to my ability to communicate with spirits, I do a combination of pretty much everything. When it comes to what I work on often, it has to do with healing my chakras and my energetic fields, because obviously those things right there are the biggest way in which spirits and energies work with us is through the translation devices that we have, which is indeed the chakras. They are actually translation devices, and so when they're working properly and they are healed and they are, trust me, if you're a person who takes care of your body and does all kinds of wonderful good stuff, amazing, good for you, you may have some healthy, chakras. However, if you've never worked on your energy before and you've never done anything like this before, chances are, your energy might be a little stuck. It might need a little bit of a boost or a little bit of a pick-me-up, and then there's a lot of ways in which it's easy to do. Go out in nature is the first thing. That's the simplest thing you can do. Go out in nature at least 15, better 30 minutes a day. Sit on the ground, make sure your shoes are not interfering. So, if you have socks on, that's fine. You don't want any synthetics between you and the earth around you, so that you can, definitely get a cleanse that way. Some other things, I do like to mix my own herbal blends for different reasons, whether it be magic candles or magic workings or for magical purposes. So whether that's, banishing candles or uncrossing work, or if perhaps maybe it's for dreams or protection, purification, or house blessings and things like this, I can do any number of magical things like this too. I'm still working on that. I haven't quite gotten to the chance of being able to make my own candles to the full extent, meaning getting the bricks and melting and then pouring and blending. Nice thing I'd like to do one day. I'm not quite there yet. That being said, I also make my own oil blends, which has been really fun recently because I'm still in a nice learning curve for that. However, it's very exciting, something I'm really enjoying doing at this point in time. And every time I do some form of work like this, I always make sure that I include the deities that I feel would be helpful or useful in doing whichever kind of blend or thing that I'm doing. So I will call upon them. I will put the oil or the herb mix in front of them, and I'll be like, hey, would you kindly bless this work for me? And often I will get a response that says, yes, that's wonderful. And even whenever I'm doing the work, I'm also working with them, and they might go, oh, don't use that. Or I'll be like, what do you think about this? And they'll be like, yeah, they've been very, very strict with me lately. So it's been a very entertaining educational curve recently because I'm about to do a trade show for the first time in Orlando. So I'm truly excited. So if you're getting this before Orlando, can't wait to see you. So some of the other things that you may be interested in knowing is who I work with. So I'm going to give you a list really quick of who I work with and why, and then other details may come later. So the goddesses I work with primarily for everything I do. I mean, literally each one has its own unique talents, traits, qualities, and abilities, obviously, and of course, because otherwise there would be no reason. So as a witch, Hecate has come to me. So I work with Hecate, the goddess of keys. She's excellent for opening the path, showing you the way, definitely giving you keys. And keys would be in regards to information and helping you find a lot of things, opening the doors for you, helping you gain information, any number of things. The goddess, goddess Hecate is known in more than one culture. She's known in the Greek culture, I believe the Roman culture for sure, but she's also known in the Egyptian culture. However, most people see her in a Greek sense, and there's also other areas in which she's known too. She's also known in the fairy kingdom as a goddess too. So it's she's quite diverse. Then there's the goddess Nui or Nut. She's the creator goddess in the Egyptian pantheon. She came to me as the healing goddess. Interestingly enough, it took me some time, even though I had a vision quest where she came to me very directly, and it was very, very very direct about, hi, boom, you're doing this. And so she literally blew me up, and to explain that would take me days. So, I would like to say, very much when these two goddesses, I've seen each of them. As a matter of fact, at least three, if not four, actually 3 or 4 out of the several goddesses I work with, I've had vision quests where I've worked with them, talked with them, and had the experience of them telling me, hey, we're going to work together. So Goddess Nui is one of them, and I was not sure exactly what she was going to be doing, and I have since learned that she is the major healing goddess and helps me with, she is a creator goddess, and she's also known for keeping chaos at bay whenever it comes to our world. She is the Milky Way across the sky, and she came together with the earth, known as Geb, to create the Egyptian pantheon. She's an incredible goddess to work with. She's pretty patient, and she shows up. She's kind of quiet, yet at the same time very, 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 very strong, powerful, and effective. The Nether goddess, who is actually so just beautifully simplistic in the way in which she does things, yet exceptionally powerful in and of her own right, is the goddess Hestia, the goddess of hearth and home. And let me tell you, if you want to kick some butt whenever it comes to cleaning out your energy or your home, the goddess Hestia is definitely the goddess to talk to. She does love her fire and her cauldron, so get ready to make sure that if you have a fireplace, that's where she wants to be situated. She loves that. So she is exceptionally good at being able to cleanse one's energy, or to cleanse a space, or to help remove stuck things, because she knows exactly how to do that. And she's also, each of these gods or goddesses that I will tell you about have some form of healing aspect. Some definitely much better than others. Then I have done some work, though not always ongoing. I have worked with Morgan, the goddess Morgan. She's a fairy goddess, known as a fairy goddess, oftentimes. But however, she's also known as a Valkyrie, and a warrior goddess. So depending upon the number, which aspect, you've got a lot of different ways in which people view the Morgan. So I have worked with her. I do work with her on occasion. She does request that I work with her on certain occasions. So when those times arrive, then I am happy to, of course, work with her. So she is a part of my particular work when she decides, hey, today we're going to do something. So she just lets me know. Some of the other goddesses I work with would be Lilith. I do work with Lilith in a lot of ways. I work with two different aspects of Lilith. And Lilith is a goddess that does a lot of empowerment whenever it comes to women, and also a lot of lots of different diverse things. She does like to work with relationships and families, and she likes to help with the empowerment issue whenever it comes to pretty much anyone, of course, and she does work around the concept of love, etc. She can be an earthy type of goddess as well. There is another aspect I work with her that can help with some of the darker aspects of life, and help with protection and, getting a little extra boost whenever it comes to garnering success. You can go both ways, whichever aspect. So outside of those goddesses, I also work with the goddess Lakshmi, which is in the Hindu pantheon. She's the goddess of fortune and wealth. And she's also quite beautiful. She's incredibly amazing. And when you partner her with the god Ganesh, who's also part of the Hindu pantheon, the two of them work exceptionally well when it comes to helping healing, cleansing, clearing a space, taking care of, bad, negative and energy or entities, etc. They do a lot of work together, and have been known to do exceptionally well when it comes to what I do in my own way. I also work with Shiva, the destroyer, which is in the Hindu pantheon as well. I have Shiva lingams, and when I work with his stones, those stones have changed my life. When it comes to crystals or gems or stones or whatever you want to call it, the lingams, and I have multiple sizes. I have some that are small, and then I have some that are bigger, and all, they can get really large. They come from one single river in India, and when you get them, they look like a kind of elongated egg, flattened almost, but they're brown, the brown and gray swirls. Either way, these things are exceptionally powerful, and it is the first stone that I picked up, and when I said thank you for being in my life, it began working on me immediately. And when I began to feel what it could do and what was possible, it changed my life. So I have been very grateful for the Hindu gods in my life. They came to me very early on when I was around 16, and I started working with them first, and then that's later on in life, I picked up a whole bunch more different spirits and friends and allies in the spirit realm afterwards. Let's see, who else do I have? So when we get into the God area, we also have, I work with the All-Father Odin, of course. He's definitely been a very funny, he's got quite the funny streak with him. He can be exceptionally jovial, and then sometimes he can be very stern. It just depends upon when you're working with him, what you're doing. He's always smiling, and he's called the All-Father. To me, I always get a papa kind of feel. However, when need be, if I call upon him for strength and for the warrior aspect, I definitely get a protective father kind of thing. And then on occasion, I will get the, all right, I'm your papa. I know what's going on. I'm going to help you. So let's pull it together. So that's always nice, is when I do work with him, he's like, all right, we're going to get serious about this. And so that can happen too. Thor has been a part of my life as well. And when I found out he was actually, like, hey, I'm here too, I was like, Lord, what is everybody doing? So it's been a very fascinating ride. I have, anytime I pick up on the ones that, come to me and like, hey, let's do something, it's been exciting. And I continue to work with them off and on. And Thor is one of the gods that actually my husband works with the Norse pantheon primarily, while I'm eclectic and work with multiple pantheons. However, he prefers Odin and Thor. And then I also have Hephaestus. Hephaestus is the one who works on creating, armor and protective gear. He's in the forge working constantly, and at a period of time a couple years ago, he did a lot of work with me to help create different types of what you would say spiritual armor to help with my particular condition and situation. And he also helped some of my inner crew with their own particular armor and gear, which was really fascinating because they had fun with that. So I also work with the god Mercury, because you've heard of Mercury retrograde. So by default, I naturally have something for him, just because when Mercury retrograde does occur, I forget sometimes, as we all do, because we get caught up in things, and I'll look up and be like, is it Mercury retrograde right now? And if I realize that it is, I go in here and I make sure to light his candle, rub his back, do whatever I can just to make him feel better and be like, okay, all right, Mercury, help me out. Help me with technology. Help me with information. Help me with, getting the right message across. Help me with whatever. Because if it has anything to do with communication, and that includes your technological devices, by all means, you want him on your side. I do work with the archangels, and I pay close attention to my guardian angel. I will tell you this. They are very strong, powerful beings. And out of all of the spirits I've ever worked with, my guardian angel is the one that's the scariest. They have a tremendous amount of power as your guardian angel, because they came into this life with you and they will go out with you. And considering what I have experienced with my guardian angel, what he's done with me, to me, and around me, and the experiences I've had being stepped out of time on more than one occasion, and being shown how time works in a way that I can't even begin to describe, I can tell you that they are fascinating, because they have a tremendous amount of power with what they can do. And when you begin working with them, you may be surprised to find out, all of a sudden, all the different things you start to experience. So when it comes to working with angels and spirits, this is whenever you start to see the signs, like the numbers, the 1111, or different numbers, or the sequence of 111, 222, 333, etc. So, when you get to the number 44, 44 is the number for archangels, and then 444 is angels in general. The number for, the specific archangels, 11 is Michael and Gabriel. And then, it kind of goes from there. So regardless of circumstance, numbers also are something that, I work with. The number 3 for Hecate, and 3 is a very powerful number for witches regardless. 11 has been told, as far as astrological charts, is the number for destiny, and it does indeed include, it was involved in my chart. I've had my chart created by a Buddhist monk when I was a teenager, and a number of other things. So either way, I have studied, experienced, and taken an interest in so many different things. I've studied shamanism. I've been to India and Sri Lanka, and I have, definitely studied, my fair share of Hinduism and Buddhism. I was brought up and went to Catholic school pretty much the entirety of my grade school and high school years. I know there was only 1 year, 2 years I didn't. And outside of that, I do study other types of religions. I did study religion at UCLA for a short period of time before I moved on to other things. I do have a just shy of a master's in metaphysics. So I have been studying metaphysics and all things under that umbrella term for a long time, ever since I was 16, because I had tremendous amounts of tragedy between the ages of 14 and 16, and I was looking for answers, and so I just went everywhere and anywhere I could to find them. I am a people call tarot card. Now we have a lot of different types of cards, but I am a reader, which means I can use tarot decks, whether traditional or oracle decks, whichever ones. I do use those to do readings as well. So I'm not, not just an energy I can also read someone's energy, which means that if you wanted to do an energy reading, I can sit down and do an intuitive energy reading with cards. However, it's going to come both ways. It will be an intuitive psychic awareness reading along with the cards to give some sort of, framework and what have you. I also work with the ancestors in a very extensive way, but when it comes to, I work with them extensively. However, when it comes to working with them, it's a very different thing. It's a personal thing. However, I am capable of helping others do ancestral work and teaching them and guiding them in the direction of how to get that started and where to look and where to go to find out more. There are people, friends of mine, that have been doing it for years, and the impact it has on a person's life is incredible. I highly recommend it. So for now, that's just a drop in the bucket. As far as my inner crew is concerned, they're amazing spirits, and they come from all different sorts of realms, dimensions, or ideas. So, I work with a very diverse set of inner crew spirits. They are amazing. And I think I'm going to keep their identity for now. I think they want to be a little subtle for this moment. Maybe we'll talk about them at a later date when they can make a debut at a bigger and better time. That being said, this is a just more in-depth look about, what I do, a little bit about who I work with, and, some of the things that, are in the mix whenever it comes to what you might encounter with me. And this way, going into it, the kind of person that you're dealing with, and hopefully this helps. Now, if you're interested, my website is witchkeys.com. And you will find out that there are a number of different options I give to those of you who may be looking for, help with either energy work or any number of different types of modalities that I am currently working with or working on or choosing to do. I'm also offering practical magic classes and any number of things. And I do certify people in different energetic modalities because I am certified in so many ways I've lost count. So feel free to check me out. Again, my name is Wendy. Witchkeys.com is my website, and I am looking forward to seeing you, meeting you, and hearing from you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me anytime, and I look forward to it. Thank you, and have a lovely day.